It's your boy Matt here, back at it again. Let's get it. So today I'm gonna be doing my first episode of Walkin, Talkin, Boxin. So this is just gonna be an ongoing series of me talking about boxing. Past events that just happened. We're gonna just dive into it a little bit, do a little bit of an analysis, and then talk about upcoming fights, all that. But these episodes are purely gonna be uh, about current stuff that happened not too long ago and is in the near coming future. So obviously I talked about it in a past video. I made a video specifically before this one, directly about Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos and their fight. Obviously a big upset. We were all surprised by that result. We didn't expect George Kambosos to even have a chance. Everyone was just talking about how long George Kambosos would last in the ring with Teofimo, let alone beat him in a decision win and dropping him once. He got dropped himself, but come on. The real surprise in that fight was the fact that Kambosos was able to drop him in the first round. Teofimo went in there with not the best game plan ever, kind of overlooking his opponent, and he paid the price, man. Got all of his belts taken away, and he kind of has to start new, go back to the drawing board, and reevaluate things. But we're all still in shock from that fight, in terms of where it leaves the lightweight division. A lot of possibilities for Teofimo Lopez. He could honestly, from what we're all hearing, it sounds like he's going to go up to 140. The dad was, Teofimo Lopez Sr. was talking a lot about he wants Josh Taylor. Teofimo says he wants Josh Taylor. But if I were their camp and I were Teofimo, I would stay far away from Josh Taylor, especially after the result that happened this past Saturday. Josh Taylor he's a big guy, dude. Like, I don't know if you guys saw, was it? I think it was during the, no, it wasn't. I think it was right before the Sean Porter and Terrence Crawford fight actually took place. There were a lot of like segments for ESPN where they were showing like Terrence Crawford meeting Josh Taylor for the first time, because that's like a big fight also. But when I saw them shake hands, I was just a little bit surprised by the size of Josh Taylor. I know like we've seen him fight against Jose Ramirez. He obviously what he did to Jose Ramirez was very impressive. He knocked him down 2 times, but still a good fight, and he pulled off I believe it was a unanimous decision. But anyways, what was I saying? Josh Taylor and Terrence Crawford, he's a big guy. I think he's bigger than Terrence, so that'd be a great fight. Josh Taylor is a great boxer. He knows what he's doing. He knows a lot of, not dirty tricks. I wouldn't say dirty tricks, but he knows, his IQ is high. He knows what he's doing. He's an experienced fighter, and he knows like all these little tactics that work in the ring. He's a sneaky fighter in the best way possible. Very slick and smooth. Elusive. Terrence Crawford and him would be a crazy fight, but in terms of Teofimo, if you asked me last week, Teofimo Lopez versus Josh Taylor, I would have a completely different answer. But right now, after that result, I would stay very far away from Josh Taylor if I were Teofimo Lopez. Ease your way into the 140-pound division. There's no need to rush for that fight. Earn your respect, make yourself look good. It's hard to it's going to be difficult to look good against guys when you're just jumping into the fire right away. You got to warm yourself up. You don't even know how your power is transferring from 135 to 140 yet, even though you're talking about how your weight drain from at 135 and coming up to 140. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be amazing at 140 either. That could just simply be talking about the weight cut and how much more comfortable you'll be in terms of training, conditioning, and eating, because I think Teofimo needs to improve a lot on his conditioning, but hopefully that just had to do with weight. So if he does go up to 140, he'll have an easier time. I was just very shocked. I think that Teofimo didn't look nearly as good as he did against Loma, which is weird, because I thought if you compare Loma and Kambosos, Loma's obviously the far superior and talented fighter, but I don't know. Maybe he's not. Because obviously we got to be honest with ourselves. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't know George Kambosos. You asked me a year ago, who's George Kambosos? I don't know. I knew who Teofimo was even before the Loma fight because he was on a lot of like co-main fights, and he was being match made well with Top Rank. It's hard because I understand everything they went through with like Triller and all that, but you gotta like really understand that Top Rank helped a lot in terms of making Teofimo Lopez look good. But yeah, Teofimo is a great fighter, and I think he could come back from this easily. I know he is a great fighter. He beat Loma. Whether he was injured or not, he still beat him. But this was just a crazy fight in general. I did not think it was going to go the distance, let alone Kambosos winning a decision. Bro, that's insane. But a great fight. Obviously, there's still some people debating about whether or not Teofimo won the fight. But it's just like I feel like George Kambosos really did enough, and he thanked Manny Pacquiao after Manny congratulated him for winning that fight. Obviously, they sparred with each other. George Kambosos helped Manny for a lot of his camps. They have a lot of ring time together, sparring rounds, like so many rounds I heard. So who knows? Maybe that could help, and that might have contributed to a lot of the success. Once if you spar Manny, that could only make you a better fighter, even if he is a southpaw and Teofimo is orthodox. That could have played a major role. But obviously, Kambosos did his thing in there, man. He's a beast. Now look at him now. He's gonna make a lot more money than he was before. He talked about maybe fighting Devin Haney next. I think he said he was gonna go to the fight this week. Devin Haney, to stop talking about Teofimo Lopez, but still kind of talking about him. Devin Haney's fighting Jojo Diaz this Saturday, I believe. And I don't know if it's the same day or the following day, but Gervonta Davis is fighting Isaac Cruz. So these are like big lightweight fights that could determine a lot for the division. But this past fight with Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos kind of threw everything like out of the loop. Everything's like kind of, I don't want to say messed up, but everything's changed now that Teofimo lost his fight. No one expected this. We thought this was just a stepping stone for Teofimo Lopez, but we didn't know how good George Kambosos was either. I think even as fans and spectators, we overlooked Kambosos ourselves. He was a 13-1 favorite, which is just like goes to show for you gambling heads, the odds really don't matter, especially in this sport where anything can happen. One punch could change the course of the fight, which I think it did. That overhand right from George Kambosos that dropped Teofimo was, I think that solidified what was going to happen for the rest of the course of the fight. I think Teofimo gained respect for George Kambosos in that split second where his glove touched the canvas and he was kind of on his butt. You don't want to get hit like that again, even though some people say, oh, it was a flash knockdown. But still, you don't want to get hit with a punch like that in boxing because, it could throw you off and then it could lead to you getting stopped. And I don't think Teofimo wanted that. So I think that's why even when Teofimo dropped Kambosos or had him hurt in after landing some good combinations, he still wouldn't go after it because of that fear of getting caught. So he was being smart, but I feel like he should have been a little bit more. He should have let his hands go more to win that fight. Should have been a little bit more aggressive, but it is what it is. It happened. It's over, and hopefully he just makes his way back to the top for Teofimo. But there's a new sheriff in town, George Kambosos. Man, he's an overnight superstar. Now everybody knows who he is because he beat Teofimo. It's kind of like what happened to Loma with Teofimo. It's kind of like this domino effect we're seeing where a lot of these fighters are coming out of nowhere and just making names for themselves, which is awesome to see. But only here in the sport of boxing will you see that where it could just be a new champion every time. No one's sure to win. Like a 13-1 underdog, come on. And he beat him in a decision. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, I'm excited to see all these fights. And so Devin Haney, let's talk a little bit about Devin Haney and Jojo Diaz. So Devin Haney is going into this fight after a unanimous, I believe it was a unanimous decision. Sorry, I can't talk. Against Jorge Linares, who's I think he was also a Manny Pacquiao sparring partner, but nonetheless, we saw Devin Haney get hurt, and I think it was towards the latter end of the fight, and then Devin Haney up until that not knocked down, but up until that point where he was kind of rocked and he was like wobbling back to his corner, he was outboxing Jorge Linares easily, like it was nothing. But it was interesting to see how he got caught with that one. Jorge Linares threw that combination and caught him with a right hand, and man, he had them spaghetti legs, man. Like, what if that was Gervonta landing that punch, or what if it was Teofimo landing that punch? Who knows what would have happened, But still, that was a good test, and he still did pass. He was very conservative and smart. He held on, survived throughout the rest of the fight, and ended up winning the fight in a decision. So, but Jojo Diaz is also an Olympian, so I'm excited to see what happens with that. He's not a very tall guy, but he's pretty like muscular, like a stubby. That's not the right word, but he's pretty jacked, pretty strongly built guy. So I personally think this is a toss up. Anybody could win this fight. I thought Devin Haney would easily outbox Linares, which he did, but he got hurt. I didn't expect that to happen. So with a guy like Jojo Diaz, former Olympian, he's strong. He has natural strength. How is Devin Haney going to react to that? This is still a good test. This is a great test for Devin Haney. If he wins this, and if Gervonta beats Isaac Cruz in spectacular fashion, all these guys could be in the talk for a fight with, like, I guess, Kambosos is the shot caller, so if he wants to fight one of those guys, he's going to be able to. And I think a lot of people feared Teofimo Lopez just a little bit. Obviously, now they don't really have a reason to, but I think they're happier fighting George Kambosos. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe Kambosos is only going to get better and he could beat all these other guys that we thought were invincible, like Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, Lomachenko, maybe if he gets back into the discussion. But we're going to see. So I'm predicting, if I had to make a prediction for Devin Haney and Jojo Diaz, I would say Devin Haney unanimous decision. I don't think he could stop Jojo Diaz, but I could also see Jojo Diaz maybe hurting him and stopping Devin Haney. I could see that, but I'm not saying that's going to happen. I still think Devin Haney outboxes him, but I'm saying it's possible. Like we saw this past week, anything's possible. And then we have Gervonta Davis. I think he stops Isaac Cruz. I don't really care what round it is, but I see it ending in devastating fashion. Then obviously there's also Ryan Garcia, but Ryan Garcia has been dealing with, he had mental health issues, and then he had his hand injury. But he's still in the talk, like he's still in the debate. Everyone still uses his name when we talk about the lightweight division and boxing in general. Obviously there's a lot of drama with Canelo and saying that he's like, he should dedicate more of his time to boxing. He's like kind of wasting his talent, but still a big draw, still in the conversation for top lightweights. And I'm excited to see what Ryan Garcia does next as well. But that's basically going to wrap up this video. I just wanted to talk about, obviously talk about the Kambosos and Lopez fight again, and then what's coming in the future with Jojo Diaz versus Devin Haney, and then Isaac Cruz and Gervonta. And then obviously there's Ryan Garcia kind of on the sidelines right now, but we'll see what happens. But I'm going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Walkin, Talkin, Boxing. It was the first one ever. History being made right here, baby, and you were here to witness it. We'll have another episode out probably next week. A lot of good boxing coming ahead. It's going to determine a lot. We're going to see what these guys are really made out of. The tests are getting slowly getting better and better, so it's going to be a slow ride, but we have to appreciate that we're still getting to see fighters get out there, do their thing, because it's honestly the best, beautiful sport, most beautiful sport out there. There's so much art to it, and it's modern day gladiators, man. They're fighting for their lives and their legacies. So Always appreciate boxing as a sport. We're lucky to have it. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see me talk about next or do next for a video. And have a great day. Peace. I'm out of here. See you guys.